No, waiting for next year. Hi, Craig. How are you?
How long are we going to have to wait
guys.
for next year?
Yeah, when is next year? Tomorrow?
I'm going to be out of town for December 27th. I'm not going to be able to see that game live, and I don't think I've ever been so happy to not see a Browns game live.
Wow. Wow.
Is this rock bottom, Craig? Is this rock bottom?
It's got to be, right? How much lower can it get?
I think Kenny brought up a good point. If they lose to San Francisco next week, I don't know. You're under the rocks now.
How many more home games?
2.
Okay.
And the Steelers after New Year's.
I have a friend that has never been to a Browns game.
No problem getting tickets, although you may be fighting Steelers fans for tickets in the last game.
I ain't going to fight nobody. The Browns lose to the Steelers, I got still that bet, 50 push-ups.
Oh, yeah?
So I may be converting.
To
a Steelers fan, buddy.
Oh, come on, man. You can't do that. I mean, it's bad enough you went to Michigan.
Man,
You're gonna
I'm
give
telling
us
you, hey, I said it, though. Like, the Browns, man, they know they can play.
You let people cutting you off in traffic.
Team. They're not a terrible team, but they just will not play together and for each other. That's what kills me about these guys.
Craig, what are we looking forward to as we wait for next year? Give me something to be positive about.
Don't say the draft picks, neither.
No, there's nothing. There's absolutely nothing to look forward to with this team. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
yes.
We hear you.
Okay. No, the thing about what's going on with this team, to me, it's like people want to look at Mike Pettin and they want to blame him and they want to say, and he's hard to defend at this point, but this team is just absolutely awful from a personnel standpoint. I've never seen a lack of weapons like this in any NFL team in my entire life.
Tom Brady ain't got a lot of weapons. I mean, all his guys are hurt. I was at the
Tom
game
Brady
last
is
night.
the weapon.
Well, you still got to have some guys that can catch the ball.
Gronkowski is one of the best weapons in the entire league.
Yeah, he's out. Edelman's out.
What did they do yesterday when he was out?
Last week you kind of saw, or Sunday, you kind of saw the Patriots without Gronkowski. They're a beatable team.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, though, like, they played well enough to win the game. They just gave up some big plays, So I was at the game last night. It was crazy. First time ever going back to a game without playing.
Wait, where were you last night?
I was in Massachusetts last night.
How'd you get back? Would you take a red eye back?
No, they just had a nice flight. I left the game kind of early, but,
Well, tell us a little bit more about your. Well, hang on. Let's finish up with Craig and then I want to hear more about your experience last night.
Okay.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
And
So
you made it back
that's the
today.
question I have for you, Andy.
Yes.
If you had to weight it, the scales of justice here, who's more to blame, the personnel or the coaching?
I would blame personnel more than I do. I mean, they've just made so many bad mistakes. Cam Irving got benched yesterday. Benched. Now, I know he's playing a position that he probably hasn't played much of before. And maybe
We got to
just get
send
a
him to
little
see
bit
LaCharles Bentley in the
Yeah.
offseason.
Say that again, Craig? I'm sorry.
We got to send him to see LaCharles Bentley in the offseason.
No
Yeah.
kidding.
Hey,
Or
but
how
look
about-
at this, though.
How about Jennings getting called up instead of Dwayne Bowe? Dwayne Bowe, a healthy scratch? No. Yeah. Yeah.
What about Justin Gilbert? Why
Why not
play
Terrell
receiver?
Pryor?
Yeah. Okay, now
That's a good point.
This is my question right here.
In
Now,
all fairness to Justin Gilbert, he did have a concussion yesterday.
Okay, all right, he had a concussion and he didn't even play. But
So
he
is
had a
Joe
concussion.
Hayden for the last 7 weeks.
All right, yeah. You know what? The concussion thing, I'm not going to argue about that because I've seen that movie, and
Oh, you've already seen the movie?
yeah,
It's already
it
out?
was a special screening.
Oh, okay.
And it's dear to me. I never wanted to cry for a movie before.
Right.
I almost cried at that movie. So
Pierre
I
Woods has
understand.
emotion?
hell yeah.
What?
Oh man, listen, brother, you need a hug.
No, I'm all right.
Okay.
I'm good.
But yeah.
I need a hug. Can I have a hug?
Man, you got to come to the studio, buddy. Got to come to the studio. Yeah, I don't understand what's going on with that.
With the
whole-
concussion?
No, the concussions, the Wayne Bowl, not playing certain guys. Then Cam Irving, right? Now they said he's the jack of all trades. Can play center, guard, or tackle.
Well,
they
again,
drafted
he's a
him.
rookie. Kenny, is your mic open too? Just want to make sure. Okay.
How
Kenny.
many guys? Like the Patriots have 2 rookies on their offensive line.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the difference there is that like you've got all these great high-end ingredients that understand when you throw 2 rookies into that, you can blend them into the ingredients. With us, you've got like the
One
worst
rookie.
ingredients you can buy, and then you're adding rookies that don't have experience, that aren't getting the right mental frame
hold
from
on.
veterans.
This is what I
and now
learned.
you're trying to mix this
Okay,
thing up,
so
and
this
it's
is
not
what I
working.
learned. After the 3rd game of the season, you're no longer a rookie. You're a veteran. He's been there. He's been in practice. He knows what to do and how to do it. Now, whether you do it or not, That's on you.
Craig?
Yeah, I don't even know where to go with this.
I
These
don't
rookies are not rookies anymore. They should be playing. They should be contributing. We see these guys contribute to different teams all around the league, just not the Browns, and that means that they've been bad picks. I mean, if you really think about it, since they drafted Joe Hayden, when have they made a good pick? They've wasted like 9 picks in a row. Even their second rounder, everybody had high hopes for Nate Orchard, and I mean, what's he doing? They can't get any production from anywhere. We used to at least be able to hang our hat on, the undrafted guys, they're contributing, or somebody's contributing. Nobody's contributing to this team right now. It's a personnel disaster.
Hey, DeQuell Jackson doesn't look too bad right now, does he? I watched him play last night. DeQuell Jackson would be a welcome addition to this team right now.
I always said he
And
anchored
his
our
defense gave up 38 points yesterday. Let's not get carried away now.
Hey,
Okay, but still, I mean, at least he was hustling
Come on
last
now.
night. Like, I watched him last night. I'm like, you know what? The Browns could even use him at this point.
half the guys I see on Saturday would be a welcome addition to this team.
How many sacks did the Browns have yesterday? I mean, just nothing.
One.
Heck, half the guys I saw in the state championship game in high school would be a welcome addition to this team.
And by
right
the
now.
way, yesterday's game would have been running time, right? Yesterday's
Yes.
game would have gone to running time once Cincinnati went up 30 points in the
Maybe
second
they
half.
can institute that rule in the NFL for the Browns.
Well, they needed it yesterday.
No, you can't do that.
Can we talk about that too?
You
Go
can't
ahead.
do that. You can't do that.
So the biggest problem with the Browns and the breadth, you've got the breadth of the entire embarrassment is that even after the Browns lose 37-3, we're smacked in the face by this modern business aspect of pro sports where the Browns have an infographic touting how badly they lost, sponsored by FanDuel. Make sure they pay all those bills. It's a rough time to be a sports fan in 2015. It's just so weird and awkward.
There was a stat that came up yesterday at the game that they put on the scoreboard. And Craig, this goes right along with what you're saying. The opposing teams in First Energy, I think, have 8 offside all year, and that's a stat.
8.
8. It's like 8. It's minimal. If you think about it, and it's just like 8. There are 8 offside by the opposing team, and it's like, yay! Really? That's a stat? That's a stat that's going to get the fans all jacked up? I don't think so. It's not like the K's that you're flipping over in the outfield when your pitcher is just, is just dueling out heat, and you're like, wow, he's got 7, 8, 9 Ks. He's got 6 or 7 offside calls. This is a bad look. It's just, it's all
know
the
what
way.
else is a
I
bad
can even
look when they
understand
show
it
the
from
end
the
of the
business
game and you see
standpoint. I
Bengals
understand
fans
that
everywhere.
everybody in there has a job to do, and if your job is the social media person or whatever, I get that those people have jobs, but as an organization, as a fan looking from the outside looking in, and I mean all fans feel like they're on the outside looking in now, it's embarrassing. It's just really awkward and embarrassing.
Here's the thing, Craig. I don't think we're talking about any of this if they're winning. That's the point. No one cares. We're not, like, all these external stories that we started hearing about, like what's going on inside Berea, blah, 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 blah. If they're winning, no one cares about any of those things. Now, all of a sudden, you're giving credit to people that are, like, digging up stories that maybe would be stories, that wouldn't be stories, that you're just like, and it's all over the place. Why? Because they're not winning. Go ahead.
But that's true what he's saying. But if was a fifth, we'll all be drunk, right?
That's true.
So it's not about ifs. It's about just going out there and winning. They're not. We can't do that.
Craig, quickly, tell us what's coming up waiting for next year.
Well, I went off on my own rant on the podcast last night. You can find that on iTunes, the official waitingfornextyear.com podcast. And you know what? On the lighter note, he already had his show with the Agora, but I had Mike Polk on the podcast last week, and it was really entertaining. So forget the Browns. Go back and find the Mike Polk episode.
You got it. We're going to go look for it. Thank you, Craig. We'll look for you online, too, at waitingfornextyear.com.
Take
Thanks,
care.
Craig. We appreciate it.
Thanks,
every week.
guys.
How about he's got his own studio there? He looks great, doesn't he?
Hey, man.
That's awesome. I don't know.
It's like him.
We got both studios there. Craig's studio looks awesome, but then I like going into the man cave, too.
Yeah,
because you can go in
Kenny
Kenny's
has
man cave.
all
and
of his,
I feel like we're hanging out. Like we're just.
He has everything in the background.
We're just sitting around. Like I think there's going to be a big screen TV on the other side of this camera. That's I don't
You know,
feels
you got
good.
the big LeBron.
All right, what do you
back
got?
Good
there.
I can, man. Come on, I've got to represent for a few more weeks, and then they won't be national champs.
Yeah, that's true. You got to hang on to it. You got another one. Oh, do you have a mini fridge in there?
Yes.
You do. Now, what's in the mini fridge? Pull one item out of the mini fridge. Red Bull.
I've got my V8 energy drink that I like.
Close.
There you
That was
go.
close. All right, what do you got?
All right, we got a 2-minute countdown to the music video. 2-minute countdown. I'm going to ask you guys this question though: if Mike Pettin is out, which I think it certainly looks like he is.
I don't know that you're
We can't
100%
keep
out.
doing this.
You
I
don't think he's
know.
out? Okay, well, if he is out, what kind of
better
coach
be.
do you think this team needs? Do they need a guy who's laid back like Pettin, or do they need like a drill sergeant?
Doesn't make a difference what we have, man. You got to stick with somebody and stay with them for a while. Like, give him the chance. You keep switching up these coaches, we ain't gonna never have no good team.
Yeah, but Pierre, look at how he looks like a deer in the headlights when it comes to clock management near the end of the first half. He has control. He
He's
can
a
go to the
defense-
official and say, give me a
Listen,
timeout instead of waiting
He's
for
a
his
defensive
quarterback.
guy. That's just like if you bring in Chan Gailey, he ain't gonna do nothing but do the offense. That guy blew my mind when he told me that. All I do, Pierre, is offense. I don't worry about the defense or the special teams. Right there, I mean, he's a great offensive-minded guy, but you know what? Offense only do for so good if you got the right players around you.
The biggest problem, I will say this, is Ray Farmer. He's the worst general manager in the league, period.
Well,
That's
Scott
where it
Pioli's
starts.
free. Scott Pioli's free.
Okay, so here you go. Here's the only scenario I see for Mike Pettin to survive. And that's if Jimmy Haslam thinks that Mike is the right guy, that Jimmy has been on board with the way they've handled Johnny Manziel. That's the biggest if, and I'm not buying that for a minute. And then
2-15.
if Jimmy promotes from within, I mean, you've got to find a general manager from within. You got a couple guys with a little bit of experience, or at least make those guys senior advisors to bringing in a Scott Pioli. The thing is here's where I think the inherent problem is. You've got a head coach who had a coach here, didn't get to bring in his coach. General manager's in, but that's not his guy. Everything's got to be streamlined. If you're going to do it, come back, hire a director of football operations. Mike Holmgren would have been great if this thing would have worked out for Mike and he hadn't basically checked out of his career and got the big paycheck, is what everybody feels like. So if you get that guy, get the next guy, and a head coach with experience, not somebody who's a coordinator that. But the hard part is finding somebody with experience that's actually going to want the job. So every problem has its own layers, and you've got webs with problems in this and that. But I still think everything starts from the top, and it all starts with one smart hire by Jimmy Haslam. It's the same thing that we had before with Randy Lerner. Same thing, only different problems.
If this guy's available, would either of you be excited about this name if he's available?
Come on.
Sean Payton.
Yes.
100% yes.
Well, we'll see what happens with the Saints. They lost to the Panthers yesterday, and there are rumblings down there that this might, be the end for him down there. I don't know if it will be, but that's a name to keep an eye on.
You know what? He's got to want to come here too, because it's going to be other teams that's going to come after him. Like, no matter what, he's a great coach. Great coach.
Hey Pierre, would this be enticing to you as a head coach, having the #1 overall pick?
No.
No? Okay.
No. I mean, honestly, it wouldn't be. I mean, it doesn't make a difference who you pick. You got to have some guys that's from Cornerstone, like that's been here, that veterans that lead. Right now, the veterans we have, man, they following.
But none of those veterans that are any good really want to come here. Look at what Bart Scott said. He was taking a leak in the bathroom, stalling to get the hell out of Cleveland, hoping Baltimore would give him an offer, and he did. And he said, "Deuces, see ya."
Right. I mean, but that's the truth. Either, guys used to tell me about Buffalo. They used to be like, man, we just go to Buffalo to get paid. Now that's the same way Cleveland is.
Absolutely.
We just go to Cleveland to get paid.
Guys, I'm going to take a phone call here real quick. We're going to go to Howie. We've got this premiere of the video. What? Oh, that's Maurice? All right, hang on. Let's put Maurice on the line first. Hang on a second.